Donald Trump just wrapped up a disastrous press conference after losing big before the United States Supreme Court. As you know, the U.S. Supreme Court, in a 6-3 ruling, struck down Donald Trump's tariffs against the world. So Donald Trump held a press conference where he accused the United States Supreme Court of being under foreign influence. He said they were infiltrated by a foreign influence operation. He then calls the United States Supreme Court a bunch of rhinos. He says he doesn't even want them to show up at the State of the Union. And he then started talking about men trying to kiss him and that he wanted to be a good boy. He said, I want to be a very good boy. Let me show you what went down. Donald Trump, during the press conference, is asked by a reporter, you've been saying multiple times the Supreme Court is under foreign influence operations. Care to describe what that means? Here's what Donald Trump says. Here, play this clip.
Mr. President, you mentioned multiple times foreign influence over the Supreme Court. Do you have evidence of that? And if not, will you investigate that?
You're going to find out.
What alternatives are you going to put in?
Then Donald Trump says that the Supreme Court is a disgrace to our nation. Here, let's play this clip right here.
They're so happy. And they're dancing in the streets, but they won't be dancing for long. That I can assure you. The Democrats on the court are thrilled, but they will automatically vote no. They're an automatic no, just like in Congress. They're an automatic no. They're against anything that makes America strong, healthy, and great again. They also are a, frankly, disgrace to our nation, those justices. They're an automatic no matter how good a case you have. It's a no.
Donald Trump is then asked why he just doesn't go to Congress to get a law passed regarding tariffs, because that's what you're supposed to do. He then attacks Hakeem Jeffries and says he's low IQ. And then Donald Trump says, I don't have to go to Congress about anything, even though the Supreme Court literally said, when it comes to tariffs, you absolutely do have to go to Congress. Here, play this clip.
Several of Republicans in Congress have supported this decision by the Supreme Court. And Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, has called you a wannabe king. Why wouldn't
him a low IQ?
But why wouldn't
he doesn't even know? And I watched him the other day interview. The guy doesn't even know what a tariff is.
There's been bipartisan criticism.
No, not bipartisan. Excuse me.
There's several Republicans have said that.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't you just work with Congress to come up with a plan?
I don't have to
push tariffs.
I have
through?
the right to do tariffs, and I've always had the right to do tariffs, and it's all been approved by Congress. So there's no reason to do it. All we're doing is we're going through a little bit more complicated process. Not complicated very much, but a little more complicated than what we had. We'll be able to take in tariffs, more tariffs. And the Congress people and the Congress,
down the Canadian tariffs last week.
Yeah,
There's been votes in the Senate against it.
Yeah, because we lost 2 Republicans or 3 Republicans because they're not good Republicans.
Then Donald Trump says now that his tariffs against the world have been struck down, he's going to implement other alternatives, he said, which will be a lot stronger. And then he goes on to say later in this press conference, that means the tariffs are going to be even higher now. So after the Supreme Court struck it down, you're saying that the tariffs are going to be higher? What are you talking about? Here, play this clip.
Remain. We're still getting them, and we will after the decision. Guess there's nobody left to appeal to. But again, those 3 people, such respect. I've had a lot of respect for them anyway, but such great respect. But other alternatives will now be used to replace the ones that the court incorrectly rejected. We have alternatives, great alternatives. Could be more money. We'll take in more money and we'll be a lot stronger for it. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. We'll continue to do so.
Then he talks about being kissed by men. He said lots of men want to kiss him. And he said, no, thank you. Stop kissing me. Here, play this clip.
Around the clock, almost 7 days a week. He said, sir, I want to kiss you so badly. And I said, no, thank you. But you know what? He just.
But he does want to be a good boy, he says. I want to be a good boy. Here, play this clip.
Court. I understand how they're very easily swayed. I want to be a good boy. I have very effectively utilized tariffs over the past year.
Then he goes on to talk about how he lost 2 Republicans in the Senate. And because a reporter says, like, you do realize that the Senate is also voting against you on your tariffs. And he's like, well, I lost them. 2 senators are lost. What is this deranged human being saying? Here, play this clip.
To take in tariffs, more tariffs. And the Congress people and the Congress,
the Canadian tariffs last week.
Yeah,
There's been votes in the Senate against it.
Yeah, because we lost 2 Republicans or 3 Republicans because they're not good Republicans. What you don't say, you don't say that we got 215 votes.
You need 218 for something to pass.
Yeah, sure we do. We might have lost 3 votes, and what was the score on the Republican side? 215 to 3, right? But you don't say that. We have great unity. There's great unity in the Republican Party, and I hope everyone's going to vote Republican, because otherwise you won't have a country left, because these people have been they are destroying our country. Please.
Mr. President.
But he wants you all to know that he read the paragraphs. I read very well, great comprehension, great reader, he says. Play this clip.
That what we did was number one, according to, I read the paragraphs, I read very well, great comprehension. I read everything there is to read, and I said, we can't lose this case. But we can when judges are political, when they want to be politically correct, when they're catering to a group of people in D.C. maybe. I don't know what it is, because when you read it, there's no other interpretation. There is no other interpretation. But it's okay, because what has come out, I'll say it for the 3rd time and maybe the last time in a while, is that we've taken the uncertainty of tariffs out, because we had uncertainty. We got sued by sleazebags, I know them well, that are very outside country, China-centric, but outside country-centric. And they're going to end up not doing as well as they did before. America was...
Then the reporter says, so now that you lost in the Supreme Court and they said you don't have the ability to impose these tariffs, are you going to impose higher tariffs? He goes, yes. Now I will do higher tariffs. Here, play this clip.
I didn't call you.
You didn't call me?
Yeah, Mr. President, to be clear, do you believe at the end of implementing these new tariff tools, the tariff rate and tariffs will ultimately be higher than they currently are?
Potentially higher. It depends, whatever we want them to be. But we want them to be fair for other countries. And, we have some countries that have treated us really badly for years, and it's going to be high for them. And we have other countries that have been very good, and it's going to be very reasonable for them.
Then he says, I really don't care if the Supreme Court justices even show up to the State of the Union. Was he about to cry? Here, play this clip.
And they'll be replaced with the other tariffs.
Mr. President, the Supreme Court justices who ruled against this the policy, striking it down, are they still invited to your State of the Union next week? And will you speak with them?
They are invited, barely. Barely. 3 are happily invited. No, they're barely invited. Honestly, I couldn't care less if they come. Okay.
Mr. President,
go ahead.
Thank you.
Then he refuses to take a question about the tariff rebate checks that he promised. Remember, he promised